I married a stern and reserved man as arranged by my family. On our wedding night, I suggested we sleep in separate rooms. Daniel unbuttoned his shirt right in front of me, his gaze dark and intense. But I have needs. Daniel Smith and I had a marriage of convenience, a union driven by business interests, devoid of any affection. He was a friend of my brother, raised since childhood to be the perfect heir, serious, aloof, refined, and always impeccably polite but distant. When I heard him agree to the marriage at the dining table, I was momentarily taken aback. But upon further thought, considering I'd have to marry someone eventually, I figured Daniel was as good a choice as any. The wedding had just ended. Daniel, slightly intoxicated, got into the car, closed his eyes, and remained silent. Exhausted from the day, I suddenly became acutely aware of the night ahead and the possibilities it entailed. My drowsiness vanished, replaced by a nervous tension that made the 10-minute drive feel agonizingly long. Surely, being drunk, he wouldn't be able to, right? I called his name softly, no response. He seemed deeply intoxicated, and I breathed a sigh of relief as the knot in my stomach loosened. When the car stopped, Daniel spoke, his voice a little hoarse. "We're here. You're awake?" I asked gently. He nodded, taking my hand as we stepped out. "I can walk by myself, you don't need to hold my hand." We were practically strangers, and his sudden touch made me a bit shy. But he didn't respond, simply tightening his grip on my hand. In the elevator, it was just the two of us, standing one behind the other. Neither of us spoke, and the silence grew awkward. As the numbers slowly climbed, I broke the tension. "Are you sure you're okay? I could make you some honey water to sober up." "No need. I'm not drunk," he replied, his voice calm. "Besides, there's something I still need to do tonight." Understanding the implication behind his words, I felt my cheeks flush. I kept trying to mentally prepare myself. The elevator doors opened, and we walked inside. After changing into slippers and pushing open the bedroom door, I froze. The floor was strewn with crimson flower petals, and the bed was covered in lush roses. Daniel appeared behind me at some point, his voice cool and detached. "It's been a long day. You should rest early. Do you want to shower first?" I offered tentatively. "I still have some work to finish." "You go ahead." He headed to the study to attend to business. So that's what he meant by something to do tonight. Relieved, I let out a silent breath, choosing a conservative set of pajamas from the closet. After a long shower, my skin was flushed with a gentle, natural glow. I took my time, meticulously applying skincare products, hoping to stretch out the evening. It took me over an hour and a half. By the time I came out, Daniel had finished his work. He was unbuttoning his shirt, having already removed his watch and tie, which lay neatly on the table. "How about we sleep in separate rooms?" I suggested hesitantly. Daniel's brows furrowed. He was silent for a moment before asking slowly, "Why?" We're not that familiar yet." I mumbled. "We're already married," he reminded me. "You need to start getting used to being Mrs. Smith." He paused, then added with a calm intensity, "Besides, I have needs." The bluntness of his words made my ears burn. I stared at him, stunned by his candor. Seeing my reaction, his gaze softened. "But if you're uncomfortable, I respect that. We can take things slowly." After all, it was inevitable. Biting my lip, I reluctantly agreed, "All right, let's not sleep in separate rooms." The sound of running water echoed from the bathroom. An inexplicable, subtle tension filled the air, making my heart race faster. I patted my chest, trying to calm down. About 10 minutes later, the water finally stopped. Daniel stepped out of the bathroom wearing casual loungewear, his hair still slightly damp. The bed dipped slightly under his weight, and I caught a faint scent of cedarwood emanating from him. I tried to keep my voice steady. "Do you want to blow dry your hair? It's still wet." "No need. Olivia, I looked up and met his gaze. For a moment, I thought I saw a flash of intensity, almost predatory, in his dark eyes. I'm turning off the light. The room was instantly swallowed by darkness, leaving only a small night light casting a warm glow over a corner of the room. I instinctively scooted back, trying to put some distance between us. But before I could react, Daniel had already pulled me into his embrace. His body was cool from the recent shower, and the sudden closeness was overwhelming. Even through the thin fabric of my pajamas, I could feel the heat radiating from his skin. I felt stiff, unsure of where to place my hands, my thoughts in complete disarray. We both knew what might come next, there was no need to spell it out. "Just sleep," he said, his voice husky. Surprisingly, he lay down beside me without making any further moves. After a long moment, I heard the soft, steady rhythm of his breathing. Had he fallen asleep? His arm was firmly wrapped around my waist, holding me tightly against him. The position made it impossible to sleep comfortably, yet I didn't dare move. For someone usually so cold and distant, it was unusual to see him show such warmth tonight. Perhaps he truly had drunk more than I realized. Daniel was a busy man. By the third day of our marriage, he was already flying out for a business trip overseas. He sent me a brief text. "I've arrived in France." I typed a reply. "When will you be back?" But after a moment of hesitation, I deleted the message. It felt unnecessary. For the week he was gone, we didn't video call or exchange messages. It was almost as if I had forgotten I was even married. One evening after showering, I reached out to grab my clothes, but realized I'd only brought underwear, no pajamas. With the house all to myself, I figured there was no harm in walking out of the bathroom like that. Standing in front of my closet, I spent a good 8 minutes picking out a set I'd never dared to wear before. Since Daniel wasn't around, I could wear whatever I wanted. No one would see me, after all. There was a strange thrill in it, and as I dressed, my initial shyness faded. I even entertained the idea of trying on another outfit. Just as I was about to open the closet again, the bedroom door unlocked with a sudden click. Startled, I dove under the covers, only my head peeking out. I met Daniel's gaze, his expression unreadable. I couldn't hide my embarrassment as I scolded, "Why didn't you knock before coming in?" My face felt like it was on fire. He must have seen everything. I wished the ground would just swallow me whole. Daniel's expression remained impassive, his Adam's apple bobbing slightly. His voice was calm, almost detached. "I'm sorry. I'll be more careful next time. Just leave for now. I need to change." The door closed behind him. I hurriedly switched back into my usual pajamas, my cheeks still burning, splashing cold water on my face. I tried to cool down. But just then, a dull ache throbbed in my lower abdomen. My period had started. I debated whether to sleep in the guest room tonight. It might save us both from further awkwardness. But before I could decide, Daniel walked back in, his hair damp, dressed in fresh loungewear. It was clear he had just showered, his gaze deep and unreadable. "Is something wrong?" he asked. Noticing my hesitation, I pressed my lips together. I think I'll sleep in the guest room tonight." "Why?" "The air conditioner in here isn't working well. It's too warm." "Then I'll sleep in the guest room too." "Daniel, why are you following me?" His voice was as cool as ever. "I get hot easily too." I glanced up at him. "But it's even hotter with two people in the same bed." He met my gaze, his expression serious. "Then just turn down the AC a bit." Fine. Let's just stay here." That night, I was on edge the entire time, barely getting any real sleep. When I woke up the next morning, I sighed in relief. Thankfully, nothing had happened. After washing up, I headed downstairs to find Daniel already seated at the dining table, breakfast neatly laid out. He looked up, his tone indifferent. "Morning." It's already 9. Aren't you going to work today? Grandmother asked us to visit her today. I'll go change into something more appropriate then. As I turned to leave, he added casually, you seemed uncomfortable yesterday. Was it because your period started? Do you need painkillers? I blinked, caught off guard by his sudden concern. I couldn't resist teasing him. Daniel, are you secretly in love with me? Is that why you're being so attentive? I still couldn't wrap my head around why Daniel agreed to marry into my family. He had plenty of suitable options around him, especially his childhood friend, Charlotte. They were practically made for each other, and everyone thought they'd eventually end up together. But Daniel's gaze remained steady, his rejection straightforward. No, I'm not. Then, after a beat, he added. I've always been openly interested in you. Oh. I was momentarily taken aback. So it wasn't my imagination after all. By the way, I brought back some clothes from France. They're on the 3rd floor. Go try them on. My eyes lit up, the slight disappointment from earlier quickly dissipating. A marriage of convenience, no strings attached, respectful of each other's boundaries, it wasn't so bad after all. When we arrived at Daniel's parents' house, it happened to be just in time for lunch. During the meal, the conversation turned to Grandma's friend, Mrs. Susan, who had recently become a grandmother. When are you two planning to have children? Daniel's mother asked, catching me off guard just as I was taking a sip of water. I almost choked. Feeling a bit flustered, I discreetly pinched Daniel's thigh under the table. Daniel smiled calmly and replied. Olivia is still young. It's too soon for us to think about children. Besides, we just got married. There's no rush. Fair point, but you should both take care of your health. You're almost 30, Daniel. You shouldn't be pushing yourself so hard at work. Mom, you don't need to worry. I'll take care of myself. Alright, but you two should stay the night here. The guest room is all set up. After dinner, I decided to take their sheepdog, Oreo, out for a walk. There's no need for you to come with me, I said to Daniel. Being alone with him still felt a bit awkward since we weren't that familiar with each other yet. If he gets too excited out there, you won't be able to handle him. Oreo seems pretty well behaved to me. Let's go. With his hands in his pockets, Daniel walked with a leisurely pace, his long strides unhurried. I deliberately picked up my speed, trying to put some distance between us, walking ahead. Oreo was full of energy. After nearly half an hour, I was already worn out. You take over. I need a break. Daniel chuckled. Tired already? You were the one rushing earlier. I was out of breath, saying, I just walked 5 kilometers, I really don't want to walk anymore. Then let's sit here for a while. There were no benches nearby. But there was a large stone. I was about to sit on it when Daniel stopped me. Wait. He took off his suit jacket and laid it on the stone. Sit here. The top button of his white shirt was undone, revealing the faint outline of his shoulder muscles, lean and strong, exuding a quiet sense of power. My heart skipped a beat. Daniel's physique was unexpectedly impressive, with a strong, magnetic presence. Sit here for a bit. I'll go get some water. Okay. Olivia, I looked up and froze. It was Jerry, the guy I had secretly liked back in high school. He was my neighbor, and after graduation, I had planned to confess to him, only to hear he was going abroad. That ended that chapter, and I spent the whole summer at home feeling miserable. Jerry, when did you get back? I just got back recently. Are you living here now? No. I'm here visiting a friend. Daniel returned with the water and handed it to me. So, is this your boyfriend? Daniel's expression was calm, and he extended his hand politely. Hi, I'm Daniel, Olivia's husband. Jerry paused, clearly surprised. You're married? We got married recently. I didn't get a chance to tell you. We exchanged a few more casual words, then headed back. On the way, Daniel seemed off, more silent than usual. Once inside, I couldn't hold it in anymore. "Daniel, are you upset?" He looked at me for a moment before responding, "That's the guy you liked back in high school." I was confused. "Who?" "Jerry." My eyes widened in surprise. "How did you know?" "Only my brother and I knew about that. During that time, my parents thought I was just upset over my exam results." He silently loosened his tie and spoke in a low tone. "I guessed. Guess you're a fortune teller after all." But I stopped liking him a long time ago. We haven't been in touch for years. "Why?" "Because of the time difference." He smiled, the corners of his lips curling up in amusement. After getting a little sweaty from the walk, I felt sticky and uncomfortable. So I went to take a quick shower. Afterward, I searched the house for Daniel and finally found him in the study. Not wanting to disturb him, I decided to go downstairs to watch some TV. I didn't know what Grandma was busy with in the kitchen, but soon she came out with a large bowl of soup. "Olivia, you and Daniel should drink this soup. I've been simmering it all afternoon, and it tastes wonderful." "Thank you, Grandma. I'm going to bed now. You two make sure to drink it. Daniel's been looking too thin lately. He needs to get some nutrition." I licked my lips. After the walk, I was starting to feel a little hungry. I poured myself a bowl of soup. The warmth slid down my throat with a hint of sweetness, and I felt much better. Carrying the remaining soup, I went to find Daniel. He was in the shower, and I could hear the faint sound of water running. Daniel showered quickly. Within minutes, he emerged. I glanced at my phone, not looking up, and lazily said, "Drink the soup. Grandma made it." "Did you drink it?" I nodded and looked at him. "I already had some. Want more?" I licked my lips. "A little, but I saved the rest for you." "I'm not hungry." I hesitated for a moment before picking up the spoon, smiling as I said, "Well, then I won't be polite." After finishing the soup, I brushed my teeth and lay in bed, feeling uncomfortable all over. I said, slightly breathless, "Can you move over a little? It's too hot being so close." Even though the air conditioner was on, I still felt unbearably hot, tossing and turning in bed, making restless noises. Daniel got up and turned on the light. "Are you feeling unwell?" Frowning, I muttered, "It's so hot. Wishing I could just strip off all my clothes." "Aren't you hot?" "Maybe it's because I drank too much of the soup Grandma made. Can you get me a glass of ice water?" The heat from my pajamas was making me even warmer. I went to the closet, found a cool silk nightdress, and changed into it. Immediately, I felt much cooler. Daniel pushed the door open and stood there for a moment, a little stunned, before walking over with the water. His voice was low and hoarse. "Drink some more water. I'm going to take a shower. Call me if you feel unwell." I blinked and said bluntly, "Didn't you just take a shower?" He pressed his lips together, casually saying, "I'm a little hot too." After drinking the water, I felt much better, the heat dissipating. Daniel's shower was really long. The sound of water splashing went on for a while. Concerned that something might be wrong, I leaned closer to the door and called out softly, "Daniel?" There was silence, then I heard faint, shallow breaths from inside. I called out again. "What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Why are you taking so long in the shower?" His voice was a little lower now. "I'll be out in a minute." A few minutes later, the bathroom door opened, and Daniel emerged in new pajamas, buttoned up to the top, covering himself completely. I furrowed my brow. "Aren't you hot? Why are you buttoned up so tightly?" Maybe I had eaten too much tonight, and my mind wasn't quite right. Without thinking, I stood up, walked over to Daniel, and began undoing his buttons, one by one. His pajamas were half open now. and I could vaguely make out the outline of his muscles and the increasingly defined abs. Seeing this, I held my breath, my fingertips trembling as they brushed over his skin. Biting my lip, I nervously asked, "Can I touch you?" Daniel didn't speak at first, looking down at me with an intensity that seemed even deeper than before, probably because he had just showered. I felt a strange nervousness. Just as I was about to retract my hand, Daniel grabbed it, his palm scorching hot. His Adam's apple moved as he spoke in a low, husky tone. "Go ahead." His entire palm covered my hand as I traced his muscles, feeling how hot and firm he was. Slowly, I moved up, inch by inch, across his abs. "Enough." Daniel's gaze turned heated, his throat tight. "I'm sleeping on the sofa tonight." The night had been a little too eventful, and when I woke up, it was nearly 11 a.m. Daniel had already left for work, and after saying goodbye to his parents, I headed home. I had quit my job and had been at home for over 6 months without work. Recently, I'd started applying for jobs online and had an interview scheduled for the afternoon. The interview went smoothly. It was for a front desk position at a company, with simple tasks. Perfect for passing time while being able to relax a bit. Daniel's company was nearby, just a few steps away. He had sent me a message half an hour ago, "Wait for me, I'll come home with you." I pressed the button, and as the elevator doors opened, I saw a familiar face. "Jerry, do you work on this floor?" Jerry smiled when he saw me. "This is my company. It's been open for a few years now." I was surprised. What a coincidence. "I just interviewed here today. I'll be starting next week." There were other people in the elevator, and Jerry seemed like he had other things to do, so we exchanged a few brief words. "Just got back from abroad, haven't had a chance to catch up. Let's grab dinner sometime." "Sounds good." Once we reached the building where Daniel's company was located, I texted him to ask if he was done with work. A few minutes passed, and there was no reply. He was probably still busy. This was my first time visiting his company, so I wasn't very familiar with the place. I called his assistant, and 5 minutes later, they arrived to take me up to the CEO's office. When the office door opened, I saw Daniel on the phone, a cigarette hanging from his mouth, one leg crossed over the other. I was a little surprised. This was the first time I had seen Daniel like this. He glanced up at me briefly before continuing his conversation on the phone. His voice was cold, lacking any emotion. I sat on the sofa, absent-mindedly picking up a magazine from the side. Flipping through it, I found it full of business information, not an ounce of entertainment, utterly dry and boring. The phone call ended, and Daniel flicked the ash off his cigarette, snuffed it out, and placed it in the ashtray. He picked up his suit jacket from the chair. I yawned and asked casually, "You finished with work?" We can go now." "How's work going?" "I'm satisfied." "Do you know who our boss is?" "Who?" "Jerry. I just found out after the interview." Daniel's face showed no emotion as he slowly spoke. "So, have you decided on this company?" I excitedly introduced the benefits, of course. It's 4 days of work and 3 days off. A 10 to 5 schedule, plus afternoon tea and team building activities. I could work here until retirement. You want to come work for my company? Same treatment, but double the salary. I shook my head, quickly rejecting his offer. "No thanks. Your company is a big one, the workload would be way more than double. Plus, everyone in the company knows me. I won't have any freedom." He didn't say anything in response, but on the way home, he continued to recommend other companies to me, each of which I turned down. "I know Jerry. He'll look out for me at work, don't worry." Daniel snorted coldly under his breath. "Can we go to work together in the future?" "No need. You start at 9, I start at 10. Our hours are different, I can sleep a little longer. Stop at the supermarket up ahead. I need to buy a few things. At the residential area." There was a sale on sanitary pads. I decided to stock up this time since I didn't have many left at home. Daniel stood behind me and asked seriously, "Are you not done yet?" I was momentarily stunned, then quickly understood what he meant. My ears turned warm, and I quietly explained, "It ended a few days ago. I'm just stocking up this time." His eyes brightened, and his mood seemed to lift. We kept walking. And Daniel threw a few more items into the cart. I didn't turn around, but I could hear him tossing in even more things. At the checkout, I noticed half the cart was filled with condoms. My brain short-circuited for a moment, and I looked up at Daniel. My voice was barely audible. "Why are you buying so many? Is it too much? Too much? What if someone sees us? Then we'll go through self-checkout." Daniel led me to the self-checkout. And beside the machine, there were more condoms on a small display shelf. He grabbed a few more boxes. I shot him a glare and threatened, "Don't grab any more, that's enough." He pressed his lips together, his voice low and serious. "These are a different kind from the ones earlier." Tonight, Daniel's shower time was an hour earlier than usual. He didn't go to the study to work. It was only 9 p.m. And I hadn't updated my comics in a while. The study was empty, so I decided to grab my laptop from the bedroom. He was lying on the bed reading a book, looking completely focused. He set the book down and casually asked, "Aren't you going to take a shower?" "I've got something to do. I'll shower later." "How long will it take? Is it urgent?" I nodded. "I'm not sure, I might be up all night." He pursed his lips and casually said, "I'll stay with you." In the study, Daniel sat on the sofa opposite me, and I found it hard to concentrate on drawing. So, I decided to pick up a book instead, getting more and more absorbed in it. Before I realized it, half an hour had passed. "Are you done with your work?" I half-heartedly replied, "Almost done, almost done." "If you can't wait, just go ahead and sleep." After a while, I heard his deep voice again, "Are you still not finished?" I looked up to find his gaze on me, his eyes dark and narrowed. I felt a chill run down my spine and awkwardly explained, "I'm just tired. I want to rest for a bit." He took my book away, closed my laptop, and without hesitation, shut the study door, urging, "Hurry up and take a shower." I deliberately took my time in the bathroom, stalling for nearly an hour. When I came out, the bedroom light was off, leaving only a small nightlight on. I sighed in relief, thinking he was asleep. Just as I was about to get into bed, the person beside me quickly rolled over and pinned me under him, pressing a kiss to my forehead. I was confused, my heart racing as I felt the heat from his chest. His eyes were filled with suppressed desire, and his voice was controlled but low, "Can we tonight?" I could feel the heat of his body. My heart thudding in my chest as I blushed, my whole face and neck turning red. I was nearly dizzy from it. Daniel's throat bobbed, and his gaze darkened, a hint of aggression in it. "Can we, Olivia?" I couldn't bear his gaze, feeling like I couldn't breathe. Slowly, I nodded. His warm, firm hand locked around my waist, and as his scorching kiss landed on me, his grip tightened. Just as I was about to open my mouth to ask him to go easy, he quickly took control, stealing my breath away, his kisses growing more intense. The harsh lights above flickered, and I couldn't help but feel embarrassed. I shut my eyes. "Turn off the light," I murmured. In the dark, his breathing grew heavier. A strange, tingling sensation spread over my body, and my mind began to lose control. A soft moan escaped my lips. When everything was over, Daniel offered to help me shower. My voice trembled as I refused. "No need, I still have enough energy for a shower." When I came out, the sheets had been changed, and he had finished showering in the guest room. He handed me a glass of water. "Drink some water. Are you feeling uncomfortable?" My throat was dry, and after a sip of water, I felt much better. I shook my head. "No. Just really tired. Feels like I ran a marathon, my back and legs are sore." Over the next few days, Daniel tried to pull me into bed again, but I rejected him every time. No matter how much he pleaded with his hungry eyes, I ignored him. Last night, I set the alarm to wake up at 8 a.m., making sure I wouldn't be late for my first day at work. I slept so deeply that I didn't hear the alarm. When I woke up, it was almost 9 a.m. I hurriedly put on my makeup and changed into a white Chanel skirt suit, simple, neat, and elegant. When I went downstairs, Daniel was leaning against the sofa, casually brewing a pot of tea. "It's already 9. Aren't you going to work?" I asked. Daniel raised an eyebrow. "I'm waiting for you. I'll take you to your first day." "Okay, hurry up. I'm going to be late." "Take your breakfast with you." We parked a little way from the company due to construction nearby, and we walked the rest of the way. My first day was easy, simple tasks, and I met several new colleagues. At the end of the day, Daniel sent a message, "How's work? Have you eaten?" I replied with a pitiful emoji, "I don't know what to eat." Seconds later, a few photos came through: red wine, braised beef, seafood risotto, pasta, corn chowder, and tiramisu for dessert from my favorite dessert shop, limited edition, made by a French chef. "You're eating so well. I'll pick you up, let's eat together, okay?" "No, no need. I'll come on my own." On a hot summer evening, I was already sweating a bit when I arrived at his office. "It's so hot," I complained. He brought me a glass of water, and I drank it all in one go. The food in front of me looked appetizing, and I swallowed, unable to resist. After taking a bite of the beef, my eyes lit up. I hadn't had lunch, and when I arrived at the company, the lunch Daniel had brought had already cooled down and didn't taste as good. I was starving, and now everything tasted amazing. He unbuttoned the cuffs of his shirt, rolled up the sleeves slightly to reveal his understated yet luxurious watch, and added some pasta to my bowl, his expression gentle. "Why are you so hungry?" "I didn't eat lunch. I'm starving." "Didn't you bring lunch?" "It got cold, so I didn't eat it." Daniel frowned slightly, then cut some more beef and added it to my bowl. "Enough, enough. I still have work to do. You can sleep here for a while and then go back to work later." When I woke up, Daniel was in the middle of a video conference, his expression neutral, showing no emotion. I yawned, still half asleep, and noticed a few plates of fruit and desserts on the table, with a cup of yogurt next to them. My eyes instantly lit up, and any lingering drowsiness quickly disappeared. I ate the yogurt nonstop, not even noticing when Daniel finished his meeting. "Daniel, where did you buy this yogurt? It's so delicious." "It was prepared by my assistant." "Your company is amazing, the dinner is so fancy and tasty." He gave a half smile, then invited, "Do you want to join our company? You'll have dinners like this every day." I hesitated for 3 seconds, then declined. "You go wait in the underground parking, I'll finish up and we can go home together." "Okay, I'll go ahead." Just as I stood up and started walking out, Daniel gently pulled my hand. "Olivia HM?" He looked at me intently, his voice languid, "We haven't kissed yet." I stood up, quickly brushed my lips against his, then pulled away. "Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. If you're hungry next time, just text me, and I'll have my assistant bring you something. Don't skip lunch again." Got it, got it." A month after I started work, Daniel messaged me one evening after work saying he had to stay late. It was the peak of rush hour, and on my way to his office, I was accidentally knocked over by a bicycle. The injury wasn't severe, just a scrape and some pain in my leg, making it hard to stand. I waved the rider off, letting him know I was fine. He left me his number before leaving. When I called Daniel, I was calm at first, thinking it wasn't a big deal. But as I spoke, my voice began to tremble, and I struggled to keep my emotions in check. "Daniel, I was hit by a bike." His voice tightened on the other end. "Are you okay? Where are you?" "I think I'm okay, just can't walk properly." Every step I took hurt, as the fabric of my pants rubbed against my wound. "I'll be there soon." By the time Daniel arrived, I was sitting by the flower bed in a safe spot. It was getting dark, and the air had turned cooler. He took off his suit jacket and draped it over my shoulders, his jaw clenched. And his face looked grim. "Does your leg hurt?" "A bit." "Let me take a look." I was relieved I had worn jeans that day. If it had been a skirt, things could have been worse. Daniel's lips pressed together, his expression serious. "What about the person who hit you? Why didn't they take you to the hospital?" "I told them to leave." "Olivia, have you lost your mind? That was no small hit." "Stop scolding me." His eyes scanned me. Sharp and focused. "Anything else hurt besides your leg?" "My head feels a little dizzy, but just a little." "I'll carry you." "Be gentle, it hurts so much." His dark jeans were soaked with blood, which had spread into large patches, making it hard to see the extent of the injury, but it seemed like a minor scrape at first glance. The doctor cut open my jeans, revealing a gaping wound on my knee. The blood dried and stuck to my lower leg. "Ouch!" I cried out in pain, turning my head away, unable to look. Daniel's face was practically frozen with anger. As the doctor cleaned the wound, I gripped Daniel's arm tightly. When I heard they were going to give me a tetanus shot, the pain nearly made me lose consciousness. Tears welled up in my eyes. Daniel's voice was cold. "Doctor, please be gentler. You're being too rough." I tugged lightly at Daniel's sleeve, murmuring, "Don't be so harsh." He sighed helplessly. "My wife's afraid of pain." The corner of his mouth lifted slightly, but he shot me a stern look that quickly erased any hint of a smile. He pulled out a wet wipe and gently cleaned the tears and dirt from my face, sighing again, his tone soft. "I've never met someone so clumsy." "Doctor, will it leave a scar?" I asked. The doctor adjusted his glasses and replied, "If you avoid getting the wound wet, it shouldn't scar. Just come back regularly for dressing changes." Daniel, still not at ease, insisted on a full-body checkup. Thankfully, there were no major issues. However, since I was feeling a bit dizzy, he insisted I stay overnight for observation. After a few hours of fussing around and not having eaten yet, my stomach growled. "I'll go buy some food." "What do you want?" Feeling a bit emotionally drained, I needed something to lift my spirits and rattled off a few dish names. Daniel ruffled my hair absent-mindedly, chuckling lightly. "Didn't expect you to have such a big appetite." "Daniel." I was in a VIP room, and after watching a movie, Daniel still hadn't come back. The window was left open, and the breeze made the room chilly. I got out of bed to close the window, and saw a tall, slender figure standing below. It was Daniel, holding a cigarette in his mouth, and the faint smoke swirled around him, giving him an almost unreal appearance. I bit my lip and closed the window. 10 minutes later, Daniel returned, now wearing a different jacket and smelling of smoke no longer. I knew he smoked after we got married. But it was rare to see him smoke. He only did so when he was particularly frustrated. He had several bags in his hands, and when I saw my favorite tiramisu, my eyes lit up, and all my negative emotions seemed to vanish. "Does your leg still hurt?" "It doesn't hurt anymore. It did sting a bit when the doctor changed the bandage, but now lying down, it was much better." "I want tiramisu." He opened the packaging and handed me a spoon, with wet wipes beside it. I took a bite and sighed in pleasure, muttering, "I feel like my leg doesn't hurt anymore. I can go back to work tomorrow." He smiled. "Is it that good?" I nodded enthusiastically, cheeks puffed out as I said, "It's delicious. Too bad it has rum in it, you can't eat it." His voice was casual as he replied, "There are other ways to enjoy it." "What way?" "Look up." When I met his gaze, he suddenly kissed me. His lips crushing against mine in a forceful, relentless kiss. His large hands held my waist firmly, while his other hand cupped the back of my head, pulling me closer. A sudden tickling sensation spread across my waist. Open your mouth. Feeling the shift in his body, I could barely keep up, and I gently pushed him away, needing to catch my breath, which still carried the faint scent of tobacco. That's cheating. What if you really were allergic to alcohol? The alcohol content is too low to matter. Daniel picked up his cigarette case and stepped out. It was soon time to wash up, but Daniel didn't seem inclined to leave. Aren't you going back tonight? I'm staying here. There's only one bed here. Why don't you go home? I'm fine on my own. I was also feeling like going back, since the injury wasn't too severe. Daniel was just overreacting. It would be more comfortable lying in my own bed at home. The hospital bed was too hard, and the smell of disinfectant was too sharp. I'll sleep on the couch. But you have work tomorrow. How can you rest on the couch? I'm resting tomorrow, not working. By the way, I need to take a day off tomorrow too. I sent a leave request to Jerry, then casually picked up a novel and started reading. Daniel was sorting his clothes when he asked, "Do you want to shower now?" Without looking up, I waved him off nonchalantly. "You go first." I was so absorbed in the book that I didn't even notice when Daniel appeared next to me. It wasn't until I heard his clear, deep voice reading aloud from the novel that I froze, my eyes wide in horror. I quickly slammed the book shut and looked at him, unsure of how to explain. How did you sneak a peek at my book?" Our gazes met, and his lips curved into a teasing smile, his voice light and casual. "So, you like it like this?" My face flushed red, and I squeaked shyly from the bed, "Oh my God. Stop making things up. I don't like this kind of stuff." Daniel smirked, his tone unbothered. "Olivia, you should watch less of these things. They're too provocative." "Shut up." I was so annoyed that I almost wanted to hit him. I tried pinching his stomach, but it was so firm that I couldn't make much of an impact. He casually ruffled my hair and said, "Go take a shower. Do you need my help?" "No thanks," I muttered, feeling too embarrassed. In the shower, I was extra cautious, making sure the water didn't touch my wound, fearing it might leave a scar. As time passed, the bathroom filled with steam, and my face became flushed from the heat. When I came out, Daniel was standing by the window, calmly finishing up a work call. The phone call ended, and I was already in bed, watching TV. "Go ahead and shower," I said. Daniel showered quickly, then came in, towel in hand, drying his damp hair. "Is your head still spinning? Is there anywhere else that hurts?" "It's much better, nothing serious." The sofa was so small that when Daniel lay down, his legs couldn't even stretch out. He looked uncomfortable. In the stillness of the night, I said softly, "Daniel. I'm a little cold. I'll have a nurse bring extra blankets." I patted the side of the bed and added, "Come sleep here with me. The bed is big." He sighed and smiled helplessly. "You still have an injury on your leg. Lie down properly." "I'll sleep on the sofa." "It's fine." "Okay, but if you're uncomfortable, let me know. Good night." Maybe it was the shock from earlier, but I quickly fell into a deep sleep. Physically, I felt fine and planned to go home this afternoon. At noon, Jerry came by with his assistant, carrying a bouquet of flowers. I was a little surprised. Daniel had just gone out to get food, so the room was empty. "Jerry, what are you doing here? How bad is the injury?" he asked, concern in his voice. I waved my hand and smiled. "It's nothing, just a scraped leg." Jerry let out a long sigh, visibly relieved. "As long as it's not serious. Rest up and come back to work when you're better." "Thanks." After about 10 minutes, Jerry left to attend another meeting. Soon after, Daniel returned with takeout. I smiled brightly. "You're back. What did you bring?" His eyes scanned the flowers on the table. "Did someone come to visit?" "Yes. Jerry came by to visit and brought me flowers. Daniel's expression shifted slightly, but it quickly returned to normal as he said, "He's too kind." He opened the takeout bag and handed me a bowl of vegetable soup. "Drink this first." I took the soup and tasted it. It was a bit more salty than water. "It doesn't taste good." "Where did you get it?" He looked a little taken aback. "From a restaurant near the hospital." "Stay away from that place. It's terrible." "Okay, next time I'll make it for you myself." In the afternoon, during the break, Daniel sat on the sofa, slowly opening his laptop. "Aren't you resting?" I asked. "I still have some work-related matters." In the quiet hospital room, the sound of a video suddenly came from Daniel's computer. "This is how you make vegetable soup taste better." Daniel hurriedly slammed the laptop shut. I blinked, looking at him. He pursed his lips. I accidentally saw it. After a moment, he opened the laptop again, this time muting the sound. "On the third day at home, my friend Lily sent me a message. Babe, I'm on summer break, I'll be back tomorrow." My eyes instantly lit up. I had been getting so bored at home. But Lily was coming back tomorrow. Lily and I grew up together, from kindergarten through to university. After graduation, she went abroad to study, escaping an arranged marriage her family had planned for her. She did her master's and PhD, and thinking about it, it had almost been 3 years since I last saw her. I really missed her. After marrying Daniel, I had embraced the role of a good wife and stayed away from the nightlife. It had been so long since I went out to a bar. I had been feeling stifled at home, and it was time to let loose. I was planning to tell Daniel about it before bed, but when it was almost midnight and he still hadn't come home, either working late or out for business, I didn't bother waiting for him. The next day, I went to pick up Lily from the airport. We hugged each other tightly. "Olivia, don't tell my parents I'm back yet. If they find out, they'll immediately drag me back home and marry me off to Mike, that poker-faced guy." I had met Mike a few times, and he was even more ruthless than Daniel. He always had a stern expression, never showing any emotion. Other than Daniel and my brother, I rarely saw him with any friends. Mike's father had been a notorious playboy in his youth and had 2 illegitimate sons. Now, the family was torn apart by infighting. If Lily married him, I couldn't imagine what her life would be like after that. "Don't worry, this is between us. No one else needs to know." Thankfully, Daniel had come home late last night, so I hadn't mentioned it to him. Lily and I dropped off our luggage at the hotel and then immediately headed to the city's largest mall, where we went on a shopping spree, using Daniel's black card. I felt a little guilty about how much I was spending, so I bought a Richard Mille watch. That made me feel a little less burdened. By the time we left the mall, it was already dark outside. Daniel called. "Did you go shopping today?" "I just bought a few things. By the way, my friend's birthday is tonight, I'll be back later." "Have fun. I'll come pick you up when you're done." His voice sounded a bit tired. "No, I'll take a cab back. It's not safe to take a cab at night. Let me pick you up, okay?" "All right. I might stay out late though." "I'll wait for you." The dimly lit bar was loud, with music blasting everywhere. After one drink, I felt a warm buzz spreading through my body, and I swayed to the beat of the music. Lily, this crazy girl, was dancing even more wildly than I was. After a while, we found a booth to rest and ordered more drinks. In the noisy environment, Lily raised her eyebrows and whispered, "Olivia, look at those 2 men up ahead. They're so handsome." The lighting was too dim for me to see clearly, but I could make out a side profile. Just a side view. "That guy looks so familiar. He kind of looks like Daniel." I laughed and shook my head, holding my drink. "No way, Daniel's allergic to alcohol. He wouldn't come to a place like this." I leaned in, eager for gossip. "Hey, Lily, how's life abroad? Have you dated any foreign hotties?" No, I spend all my time in the lab. But there is this guy in my lab, he's German. Super handsome and a gentleman. He's really focused when he works, and a lot of people chase after him, but I've never seen him date anyone. Do you like him? Maybe a little. Before I could respond, I heard a loud crash. My drink had fallen to the floor, but the sound was quickly drowned out by the music. I sighed dramatically. Oh my God, I envy you so much. When I was younger, I always wanted to date a few foreign guys, but sadly, I married young. Olivia, how's your married life? I bit my lip. It's fine. Daniel treats me well. Do you like him? We're in a business marriage. There's no love. At least that's how it was in the beginning. The phone rang. It was Daniel. His voice was cold. Are you done yet? Why did his tone suddenly sound so harsh? I nervously responded, not yet, but almost. Where are you? We're at the Miller Hotel. There was a brief silence, then he said, I'll come pick you up. The call ended, and I grabbed my bag. Lily, we should go. Daniel's coming to pick me up. Where are we going? Miller Hotel. Hurry up. We had barely walked a few steps when I bumped into a solid chest. I rubbed my head, muttering an apology, and grabbed Lily's hand to keep walking. From above, I heard a casual voice. Olivia, my bag dropped to the floor in surprise. The tall man stood right in front of me, jaw clenched. Looking upset, his gaze intense. A chill ran through me. I awkwardly looked up at the man blocking my way and forced a smile before awkwardly speaking, Daniel. My fiancé, long time no see. Mike gave a half smile, his gaze flicking to Lily beside me. Lily's face went pale, her brows furrowed in confusion. I'll take my wife and leave now. Daniel spoke curtly, grabbing my hand and pulling me out. I struggled to break free. Lily is still over there. Mind your own business, Daniel said impatiently. Daniel, are you mad? I can explain. I kept going. Lily didn't want her return to be known, so I lied to you. He pursed his lips tightly, saying nothing. Is it really worth getting mad over something so small? If you don't stop talking, I'm not talking to you anymore. Daniel scoffed lightly, his expression darkening. 3, 2. Get in the car. The black Rolls-Royce Phantom sped down the overpass, disappearing into the night. Inside the car, I racked my brain, trying to figure out why Daniel was upset. Did he overhear me talking badly about him when I was drunk? But I didn't say anything bad about him, did I? Was he angry that I spent too much of his money? I bought you a gift today, I said cautiously. During a red light. Daniel's expression softened a little. So it was because I spent too much of his money. I'll only use my own card from now on. I won't use yours anymore. The next second, the temperature in the car dropped to 0. The dark-tinted windows reflected his silhouette as his long, strong fingers gripped the steering wheel tightly. Daniel lowered his gaze, lost in thought. You can do whatever you want with the card. You don't need to tell me, he said in a low voice. I awkwardly touched my nose, unsure of what to do. It was the first time I had seen Daniel this upset. When we got home, Daniel went straight to the bedroom to shower. I started sorting through the perfume, bags, and clothes I had bought earlier. I placed the watch in the study drawer. He was still upset. And I didn't want him to smash it if he was in a bad mood. It was worth millions. I opened my phone and messaged my brother, Tom, does Daniel get violent when he's angry? If he does, I'm sleeping in the guest room tonight. A few minutes later, my brother sent a voice message. Won't he? Did you piss Daniel off? I replied, I think so. Tom responded, be careful tonight. Just as the message played, the door unlocked. And Daniel stepped out of the bathroom, his gaze dark. My hand trembled, and my phone fell to the floor. I quickly picked up my phone and met his gaze. I blinked and said, I'm going to take a shower. I hurried into the bathroom. By the time I came out, Daniel had already fallen asleep. I had planned to wait until he calmed down before asking him why he was angry. The next day, I received the news that Daniel was going on a business trip to Beijing. We didn't contact each other for several days, not even a single phone call. Jerry was going to a business party, and since his secretary had a sudden issue and couldn't attend, the company sent me instead. At the party, I stayed by Jerry's side for a while, and then I saw Lily. She was standing with Mike. The man was chatting with someone. But his hand was firmly holding Lily's, as if he was afraid she might slip away. Lily, our eyes met, and her gaze lit up. She said a few words to Mike and walked toward me. After greeting Jerry, the two of us found a quiet spot, grabbed a plate of snacks, and sat down to chat. Lily, you're okay now, right? She furrowed her brow, complaining, Mike is like a piece of stubborn chewing gum, never leaving me alone. By the way, Olivia. Why did you come with Jerry? Where's Daniel? He's on a business trip. I came as Jerry's company representative this time. Mike's gaze kept drifting over to us, and Lily seemed a bit uncomfortable. She grabbed my arm and led me toward the second floor. The elevator doors chimed open. When I saw who was inside, I paused for a moment. It had been a few days, and he suddenly seemed a little unfamiliar. The man was dressed in a sharp suit. His handsome face cold and composed, with a strong and graceful posture that exuded authority and pressure. Our eyes met, and my heart tightened, then relaxed. Are you back from your business trip? Yeah. Daniel hooked his arm around mine and spoke in a calm tone. Stick with me, don't wander off. I awkwardly said goodbye to Lily. Daniel led me to a dim corner, where only a small light provided weak illumination. Are you still angry? I had been feeling unsettled for the past few days, unable to sleep or eat properly. A certain man kept flashing through my mind. The dim light around us made it hard to read Daniel's expression. He lowered his deep black eyes slightly, his lips parting just a little. Before I answer your question, Olivia, you need to answer mine first. Go ahead. Why did you like Jerry back then? He was handsome. But I don't like him anymore. There was a long silence. Daniel's voice was clear and cold. Oh, then how do you think I look? He caught me off guard with that question. When I didn't answer, he furrowed his brow slightly. Handsome. You're the most handsome man I've ever seen. Do you like me? We're already married, aren't we? Do you like me or not? Why was Daniel suddenly asking me this? It took me a long time to reply. I like you. Then why did you say at the bar that our marriage was a business deal with no feelings involved? I raised my head, trying to stay calm. We started as a business arrangement, and we didn't really know each other. So how could there be feelings? Could it be that you've had feelings for me all along? Were you secretly in love with me? He gave a small, amused smile, but his tone was serious. Yes. I've liked you for a long time. Daniel's gaze was intense, and his voice steady. The marriage was my idea, Olivia. I've liked you for a long time. I opened my mouth in surprise, my eyes wide with disbelief. His tall frame stood in front of me, his gaze burning into me. His voice was husky. Olivia, you like me. I mumbled softly, I didn't say I didn't like you. He leaned in, both hands cupping my face as he kissed me forcefully. His lips claiming mine. Our breaths intertwined as his arms tightened around my waist, the kiss passionate and impossible to resist. Daniel, your eyes are so red, and your body feels so hot. You weren't drugged, were you? He nodded slightly, his throat moving as his voice came out hoarse and urgent. Let's go, home. The moment I opened the bedroom door, I didn't have time to react before being pressed onto the bed. In the dim light, The desire in his eyes was undeniable, his breathing growing heavier. He removed the Richard Mille watch from his wrist and placed it on the table. A sudden wave of panic hit me, and I tried to move my legs, but they began to tremble uncontrollably. The moonlight was alluring, and as expected, a man couldn't go without for too long. Several times that night, I bumped into the nightstand, feeling like a fish out of water. Trying to grasp something, but it was too slippery, and I couldn't hold on to anything. The sound of his breathing filled my ears, heavy and labored. 3 years into their marriage, Daniel received a special gift on his 30th birthday. Olivia was pregnant. Both of their families couldn't stop smiling. Throughout the pregnancy, Daniel took meticulous care of her, always coming home on time after work to prepare various dishes for his wife. The following summer, Olivia gave birth to a daughter, named Marilyn.